So this is the village that we're talking about on one of the rooftops here, and this is the rooftop of one of the villagers that are living here. So this is what we see here. So you see, it's not too big. It's not a huge village, but they do have a lot of land behind their. Actually, it's in this direction I'm pointing to here. Yeah, the fields are all behind us. Yeah. Just come with me, okay? I gotta make a video. Let's go. Yeah, I just want to show you these surroundings, these horrible, squalid surroundings. So basically, they are being taken advantage of at every corner, and they even know it. These villagers, they tell me the situation that goes on here. They have a lot of land in the back. If you go and head to the back here, and we're gonna head down to the cornfields. They all have lots and lots of land here, and it's See, okay, look at this. This word here means chai, right? And it means it's kind of bylaw, whatever. What do you call it? Yeah, chai, and it's a bylaw infraction. So they have to take this down. So they're not allowed to build anything or even do any kind of modifications to their living rooms, right? And they have all this land, so basically the government's going to force them off this land. They're not going to give them enough compensation. They're going to give them enough to maybe purchase some kind of 2-bedroom apartment in some high-rise. But they're going to have to pay an extra, they're going to have to pay for all the decorations and whatever, the installation, because it's nothing but a really empty shell once they give it to them. There's really nothing. And these villagers, they own all this land. This happened here, well, these high rises. They build up the high rises up to here, and I suspect it's going to, the villagers are going to be, this village is going to be probably taken down within 5 years or so. And so, this village will probably be demolished within 5 years. But the thing is they're going to lose all their land, right? And they're going to have to pay for decorations, installations for that new apartment that quote unquote is given to them, or what do you say, compensated for, which is not real compensation. It's really they're just really kicking them off their land and telling them to pay for decorations, which run up to at least 100,000 to 130,000, maybe 200,000 RMB. They have to pay out of their own pocket to actually, that's nothing but a concrete slab. So they have to do the flooring, the tiles, installations, and all the decorations and everything, furniture, everything. You have to pay for all that. And meanwhile, while they're living in these conditions, they're not even allowed to decorate their own home, because if they do and the local government finds out, then they're going to be we won't be compensated, whatever the going rate is right now. I think it's 4,000 per square meter or something like that, which I was heard from one of the locals, and they won't be compensated for that. So this is a really sad situation. And again, I'll explain to you some more. All this land here behind belongs to households in this village, and this land really, it's all separated in bits and pieces, right? There's just markers and stuff that who belongs to who, and which piece of land belongs to which person, which household. They know themselves. It's all scattered. It's all scattered around. But once they lose this land, they're going to be in some concrete slab up in some high rise, which they had to pay for themselves, and they're going to lose all that land. And the local government is just going to sell this land to some land developer. They'll make 40 times the amount of money, which won't be given to any of these villagers. These villagers will be the losers. The winners will be the government, which sells the land to a developer at 40 times the rate, 30 to 40, maybe 50 times the rate. So the local government wins. They get a huge, they get a huge profit. They're like the middleman. They get a huge profit, and the developers win. Developers will resell. They're allowed to resell the apartment. The developers. Some of these villagers will get, one apartment, but they'll have to pay for the decorations. They'll be allowed to resell it, but the leftover units will be resold on the private market or whatever. And this is what happens. So in the end, the winners are the developers who have probably an establishment, or they have some kind of connection with the local government. And the local government wins, the developers win. The normal villagers here, the citizens, lose out. And it's just really a sad situation, which goes, it again proves that the CCP is nothing but a money-making machine who exploits their own citizens. And we can see from this example here. This is just, I spent a week here in this village to understand what their story is. I want to tell you what goes on here, and it's just really sad. It's really sad. I didn't explain that clear earlier when I was just filming all the, the rundown parts, but now that I look at it, it just makes me really sad. It's horrible. And these villagers are the ones who lose out in the end, and they'll get nothing. They'll get all this land taken away from them in the end. They'll get all the land. All these cornfields, they all belong to a household or two households, and it's just miles and miles and miles of fields. It's just huge, the amount of land they own. And really, the government just uses these bully, mafia-type tactics to take away their land and make money off the land, and to exploit these villagers. It's really sad. It's really sad. So this is the story I want to tell you about. It's really, it goes on all over China. It's everywhere, and this is the real life example of what goes on. And a lot of these villagers, they don't like the local government. There's nothing they can do about it. One villager even tells me, what, are you going to fight the mafia? The mafia, if you try to fight the mafia, they'll fight you back with bully tactics. So where do we go here? Okay, we'll cut through here. Okay, so this is what happens. If you try to fight the local government, you're gonna get problems. And there's examples of villagers that basically resisted what the government local government was telling them. Well, they didn't have any advantage. They got other people who didn't resist got advantages or whatever from the local government. Other villagers who decided things were not that fair and decided to protest a little, and they got stepped on. They got stepped on, right away. And this is really, it's really sad. It's really sad. So they don't even have the right to protest and to ask for more money, to ask for more equal treatment. And if you try to cross the CCP, try to cross the local government, this is what happens to you. Look at this. This is miles and miles of land. It all belongs to these villagers in this village. Bits and pieces belong to different households, but it's huge. The land is huge. And this one place I stayed at, the relatives, they own at least 2 square kilometers, 1.5 square miles of this land. So yeah, this is what goes on here. See in the background those 6-story high rises. Now those are kind of social housing. If you're like on a poverty line or something, they'll give you some social housing or whatever. And those people, they okay. So where are we gonna go here? Ooh, kind of stuck here. Okay. So, but here they don't have any advantage of anything here. They basically, they're basically at a disadvantage because they're not on poverty line, even though they're living in poverty conditions, but they don't get any kind of compensation from the government. You know, like in the West we do. You know, if you're poor, you're gonna get some help from the government, right? You'll get some child credits or whatever things, but here they'll get nothing. You know, especially if you try to protest. If the government wants your land, that's it. You try to protest, you're gone. You're not going to get anything.